Because I always do that on prep, right? Like start prep and get aggressive right off the bat because you still have food is really high,
Yeah.
right? So if you're like, maybe you are at your pre-prep holding phase of like 4,200 calories for like a dude or something, right? You
I'm
drop
like,
it,
well, me.
you
I
drop,
don't know, maybe.
so you drop quite a bit, right? And you're like, okay, now we're at like 3,700 at the beginning of prep. Like food's still high. You still have carbs.
Mhm.
You still have training support. You still have recovery. Like, yeah, I go aggressive right off the bat for as long as I
Because I
can.
feel like that works best because then you can get lean, pretty lean fast, and then you can be less aggressive as you're tired, like responding
Yes.
slower because you've already done most of the work at the beginning. When you're ready to like do the work at the end of the off season, when you're like, yeah, I can't ready wait for prep. I'm like ready to drop food. You get that gratification of like, okay, we're in prep mode and not just like, okay, small tweak here. And it's
Yes.
just like inching along. And then you get to 10 weeks out and you're like, wow, I still have a lot to lose.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's nothing scarier than like, oh man, I'm 8 weeks out and I'm behind.
Hmm.
I've done that way too many times. That happens a lot, right? And so you're like, well, you can push the show back. That's probably the best thing to do because there's shows all the
Which that's
time.
the thing too, is like there's shows every weekend.
Yeah, there's shows all the time.
Even
Like
if
I
it's
would,
not right in your town, but
yeah, like I'm almost of the mind anymore that especially with local shows, like if you're amateur, like just do a prep, right? Plan, okay, we're gonna do a show in October, right? Start your prep 20, 26 weeks away from that. And then, get down to where you're like, okay, I'm almost show ready. Now what shows are still reasonable, right?
yeah.
Are we in a position to still do like mid October, or should we do mid November now? Should we buy another couple weeks and be 2 weeks ready? Like, what's the difference? Like, not a whole lot, right? If you manage
Right.
your client psychology from the beginning, like, hey, this is subject to change, but our number one goal is getting stage ready, and then we'll step on stage when we're ready.
Yeah, like realistically, it doesn't matter when. Or it shouldn't matter when.
Yeah. I also really like pre prep, right?
Yeah.
Standardizing everything, like treat yourself like you're on prep for the 2 to 3 weeks leading into prep so that the
That's what I've
minute
always done too.
exactly the minute you make that first drop like you just did and you start dropping weight, then you respond right away. You get the most, like I'm trying to get the most progress out of that first initial drop possible. And we do
Hmm.
that if we're super consistent. But if we make that drop and then we start, tracking sauces, then we're weaning back on, cheat meals, whatever it is, you just don't get that much out of it. And so you're like,
Hmm.
you kind of start behind already.
That's what I like too, like a pre-prep phase.
Yeah,
Because
exactly. Yep. Yep. Yep.
I think that
That's what
works
I call it.
really
Yep.
well.
I do pre-prep phase and that might be 2, 3, 4 weeks or something. Because then you're
Hmm.
like in that period of time, you're, okay, listen, have your last cheat meal. This could be your last
Yeah.
one. You know what I mean? Like let's standardize sauces. Let's get away from the barbecue sauces. Let's do a deload, right? Let's do a quick
Hmm.
deload. Maybe let's cut, cardio back for 3, 4, 5 days or something. Like let's relax.
Yeah,
Because once prep
before
starts,
we
it's real.
really hit the ground.
Yep. Reel it in, dial it in, get everything consistent, make that first drop. And it's like, let's see how much we can get you to change off that first drop. And then, like, I learned this from John Jewett and Luke Miller, right? Like, do 1.5% body weight. Like, let's see how long we can hold 1.5% because that's a pretty high amount. And then, like
Yeah,
you
that is.
said, right, when you're like, okay, let's, if we're getting fatigued, we're starting to get exhausted, starting to get hungry, it's like, well, let's just dial it back, maybe 1.2, maybe
Hmm.
one, So yeah, I'm real
I
glad.
think too, and I won't say like a lot of coaches because I feel like I only get to talk to people who have crap coaches because they're not looking for a new coach.
But yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I
Or getting
really
a
only
second
hear the stories
opinion.
of crappy coaches. I feel like so many, well, two sides to this coin. So many prep coaches are scared to one, refeed their clients, but two, feed them before the show, especially if
Yeah.
they're lean. And I'm like, you need to feed them before they get on stage.
Yeah. And it always happens if you don't leave enough time for prep. Like with Wyatt, we started 26 weeks out, right? He just got sick. Things
Oh, did he?
happen. Yeah, he got, everybody's been getting sick. Yeah, he got sick. And it only lasted a few days, but hey, if you didn't plan for that,
Right.
now
You need
you're
to have some
great.
buffer time.
Yeah, now you're behind those 3, 4 days, right? So I'm glad we started like 26 weeks out. He's gonna step on stage 5 weeks out on the 17th.
Hmm. How is he feeling about things right
Great.
now?
We're dialing in posing now. Now we're really getting in on posing. So I'm like, dude, the biggest thing you can do, especially as an amateur, is pose. Like most people don't start posing until a couple weeks out. I don't know why this is, but like, oh, hey, show's coming up in a month, better start practicing. It doesn't, it makes
So
zero sense to me.
I just did my first posing session with my coach for this prep, and I was like, man, I wish I would have kept up. Like I did like posing, but like not my full routine really. Not like putting on my shoes, going in the posing room, blah 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 blah. I wish I would have stuck with it like all off season because now like I feel fine, but I know it could be that much better if I just like kept and it would be so streamlined if I just kept up the reps. I'm like, man, which I knew that. Like I knew that, but I was just like, eh. I just feel like going home after my lift. I'm just gonna go home.
Yeah. Well, I always
So,
do it on my check-in days. So
I
it's,
mean, yeah, I do that, but I just get into my poses and then stop.
yeah, I'll do like on my because I'll do my check-in day on a non-training day. And
Hmm.
so, on a normal training day, I'll have my first meal, which is my post-workout meal, like 8 or 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Well, I
Do you drink
maintain. No, I'll wake up. So I wake up, I do like as much water as I can handle, right? Like 24 ounces, 24, 28 ounces with electrolytes. I'll sit down, get on the computer, right? Get into Elite Functional Health, right? Start chatting away, or like,
You're like,
lately I've
crap,
been,
Max messaged me 5 times.
what's that?
You're like, crap, Mac has messaged me 5 times.
Well, recently I'll like, if I have things I'm looking into, like I've been doing a lot on methylation recently.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do an hour, 2 hours. If it's non-training day, sometime 3 hours of just like, that's my focus time. Like
Hmm.
nothing exists. And then when I'm done, I'm like, okay, let's start chatting and stuff.
Uh,
But I'll typically do that for like, 30 minutes, 45 minutes just to get, hydration going. I'll start hydrating, get the juices flowing, drink a coffee, right? Have a couple bowel movements. And then I'll do my,
couple.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. Sometimes like 4 or 5. It gets up there. But
That's
then
crazy.
I'll do my fasted cardio. Then I'll do my gut health drink and I'll do cream of rice with whey protein and some fruits. And then 30 minutes later I'll go train. So usually I'll be in there training around 7:30.
Hmm.
And then when I get done,
That's
I'll get
nice.
home, have my
So,
first meal.
like, that's a meal too. Like, that's really fast digesting on both sides. Like
For
the protein side and the carb side. Like, it's not going to be sitting on your stomach like, ugh, while you're training.
the whey protein and the cream of rice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And knowing that it's like probably still digesting a little bit, but it's like as fast as I can, right? As long as I can before the training, or the fastest digesting as I can, as long as I can before training, usually 45 minutes or an hour. And then I'll also do like carbolin, during my
Hmm.
workout.
Hmm.
So I know some people don't like intra workout as much, but I will in that case, right? Because it's like, how, I'm still trying to feed my body because
I
it's
mean,
like,
I like it. I find a difference in my lifts when I have it in.
do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I
I feel
couldn't
like more
say
so
I
like
noticed a
for
difference.
not necessarily like direct strength, but more so endurance, and I get a better pump for sure.
Do you? Yeah. Well, I do. I do my eminent pump and some tadalafil right before, so that usually takes
Okay.
care of it.
Yeah, I'll do eminent pump, and I don't have any Cialis, but I'll do eminent pump and just like the unflavored carbolin.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's
That's what I
super
do.
dialed. And then yeah, on the non-training days, I'll keep my meal timings the same, right? So wake up the same time, right? 4:35, and then I have till 8 o'clock for my first meal. Well, I'll do that same thing. I'll wake up, hydrate, dive into whatever I want to dive into, do my fasted cardio, and then I'll do my pre-workout. Like there's some mobility stuff that I do, 20 minutes. I'll do
Hmm.
that before my posing, and then I'll do a round or two before my photos. And then after my photos, I'll do another
Hmm.
couple rounds. So I'm doing like quite a few rounds around when I do
Hmm.
my take my
So you're
check-in
like
photos.
warm for your photos in a way.
Yeah, yeah, because you're already like it's kind of tough, right? You're not warm. Things are a little bit bound up.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I find that it is a really good indicator of of your mobility, right? If you're posing, like say for instance, if things are not as bound up fasted, then they're probably not bound up at all when you're not fasted, like when you're training.
Right.
Is that I don't
Right.
know. That's like a mental thing that I have.
No, that makes
Um,
sense.
right? Yeah, like if things are looking good when you're fasted for your photos, you're probably in good shape because that's like the
Yeah.
coldest you'll be.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's something I'm working on too because my posing coach told me in my back pose, I'm kind of like favoring my right side. So she had me like shift a little bit to my left. And then it's like, then like she had me like lean a little bit on my left, but I'm like, now I feel uneven. You know, when you're uneven and you correct it and you're like, now I feel like it's off.
Yeah.
This feels uneven. So I'm getting body work done tomorrow to try to work on that.
You know what's something I've noticed, and I'd want to have a second opinion on this, but I've heard this a couple times and I've honed in on it a little bit that if you have one side that's off, particularly with your lat or your shoulder, it's something going on with your other side.
No, I've heard that. I've heard that.
I do find that. So I'll take like I don't know what they're called, like a wooden rod, right? That people use for
Okay.
like mobility.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
take that and I'll dig it under my subscapularis. I've got one side that really is
Like
bound
you
up.
can't flare your lat?
Yeah, I can't flare my lat. But what's funny is the side that's all the way out is the goods, or the side that looks bound up is the side that I don't have a lot of weird stuff going on as far as like finding knots or sensitive areas in my subscapularis or like internal external rotation ability. It's my other side, the side that's all the way out and looks like it's fine.
Oh,
That's the messed up side. Like I've
okay.
got internal external rotation, like I usually find something subscapularis. It's weird. So as I handle that, it seems like it brings out the other side, which kind of sucks because the side that
Yeah.
looks good, I'm like, I want this side to look like the good side. But it seems like the good side, whatever's going on, is holding up
Is
the other
actually
side.
the bad side.
Yeah, it seems like it. Even
That
though
is
it looks like the good side. I don't know. I'm working through it.
that is weird. I think mine is from doing my front pose with my foot on my right leg. So I think it's just an imbalance from posing on my right side. So I need to
Yeah.
also pose on my left side, which I don't really want to do because it one doesn't look good. I'm not used to it, but
Yep.
I need to do it. So
That
whatever.
could very well be the case. Yeah, because what did we just talk about? We just posted. It's kind of funny for anybody listening. Yesterday we just posted
Oh yeah.
episode 7 with Eric, the pain resolver. Eric, his last name is Alexander, right? Eric Alexander.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about how the lower body will mirror the upper body. So if there's like an
Mhm.
imbalance in your hips, lower body, then your upper body will compensate.
Mhm.
So like for you, that makes sense, right? If you have like on one leg you favor one side, then the upper body will favor the opposite side, or so on and so
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all so weird. My posing coach even said like she made that mistake as well, posing on one side. And now, after years and years of competing, that glute, the one that she wasn't favoring, like she struggles to really connect to that glute, grow that glute
Mm.
because of the imbalance. And I was like, well, I don't want that to happen. That would suck.
I have that same thing. I have that same thing because I'll do like side chest and side tricep with my left side forward, but I connect with my left glute better.
Okay.
And I think the right wording would be, and I connect with that same glute better. I connect less well with the side that I don't use,
I see.
which kind of makes sense.
So you connect better with the side you don't use?
I connect better with the side.
You're like, let
Okay.
me think about this.
Well, no, I have a theory about this too, because I'm starting to think that, like, I'll have, let's see, my left or my right side, I can't remember. I connect better with that quad and that glute. I think that side, or okay, this is where I have my theory. I'm starting to get off a little bit. I don't connect better. I get a better pump on one side.
Okay. Okay.
It feels like I connect with that side better. My theory is that actually that side is more inefficient. That side that I'm more
Mm,
inefficient on, I get a better pump on. The side that I connect with better, there's high efficiency. I'm stronger on, but I don't get as big of a pump.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So to me, it seems like my left quad, like I'll do rear elevated split squats. So I'll actually grab a preacher curl like pad. You know what I mean? That people like use
Yeah.
a barbell preacher curl thing on.
Right.
Usually, like the one I have has arms on both sides that you can set your easy bar on.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll use that. I'll set up like a bench in front of
Okay.
that, and then I'll like sort of
And put your
cage
foot on.
myself in. Yeah, so I'll like hang onto that pad for the rear elevated split squats. It seems to have like really good stability.
Oh yeah, I feel like that would work really well. So your hands are facing this way on the preacher. Okay.
Yep. So I'm like sort of caged in by the arms that hold the easy bar, and then I hold the pad
Huh.
to stabilize myself. I don't know. It's like a cool little
I
Um,
feel like that would work really well.
yeah, yeah. People always like get mad because I'm hogging it, but the left
You're like, are
side,
you using it? No, that's fine.
exactly. So I'll do that left side. My left leg, I get way more of a pump in my quad and that glute because I'll usually do that after leg press. I'll do leg press,
Okay.
then rear elevated split squats. My left side, that glute and that quad, I get a better pump on than my right side, but I'm stronger on my right side. I think I'm less efficient on my left side where I get a better pump than my right side.
Could be.
You know what I mean? Because I'm
Mhm.
stronger, I don't get as good of a pump. And they always say like, you to get, at least in my mind, I'm like, to get the best pump possible, you want to do your lift as inefficiently as possible.
Like make it as hard as you can
Yeah, like
if it's
powerlifting.
minimal weight.
Yeah, like with powerlifting, you want to be efficient so that you can be stronger. With bodybuilding, you want to be inefficient so
Yeah,
that you
you
get
want
that.
to make it as hard as possible with the least amount of load,
Yes, exactly.
essentially.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep. And so that efficient side, that stronger side, I get less of a pump. I think it's more efficient than my left side. I
that
think
makes
there's more
sense.
dysfunction on
Hmm.
that left side. But that
Hmm.
left side happens to be the one that I have forward in my side chest and side tricep. So it kind of works out.
Hmm.
But that's also the side that I have up, right? Like my heels spiked
Hmm. Hmm.
on that side. So my right side, my right leg is actually the one holding more of my weight.
It's so weird. It's so weird how it's all like the little details are so interconnected with it.
Yeah. And so posing, going back to posing, like if I consistently do that, the way that I set up that posing, fasted cardio, mobility, couple rounds, photos, couple rounds, it takes me usually like 5 to 6 weeks before posing starts to look better and better. It takes a
Okay.
minute to get back into it, right? It feels like it takes 5, 6 weeks. So, 5, 6 sessions, right, of doing that posing for progress photos before like poses really start to look better.
Flow.
Yeah, I'm not
That's
as
the thing is
bound
when you
up.
get back into posing or first start, it's like you watch these other people or like pros or whatever, and you're like, how does it look so like flowy? Because it's like they
Yeah.
just go like one pose to the other, and like you're like,
Yep. And nothing's as bound up. Like, for
yeah.
instance, this is something I've really noticed with, did you follow Daniel Coffeen? So I'm, what's that?
Daniel Kaufman?
No, Coffeen.
So are you talking
C-O,
about the posing guy who was opposing Matt?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's
I thought it's Daniel
Coffeen.
Kaufman.
Oh, no, I don't think there's an M
What?
in his
Okay,
last
whatever.
name.
We're talking about the same guy anyway.
Yeah, yeah, that same guy. Let me double check. Yeah, Coffeen, Coffeen. He,
What the heck?
so I'll notice, so in prep, his last show, he was sick. Like all of his poses looked super symmetrical. Like,
Hmm.
he was really building his posing business at the time too. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you got to be really good at posing if you're going to be coaching, or whatever. But he was looking
Oh my
sick.
gosh. I feel like I swear to you, I thought it was Kaufman this whole time. Okay.
I do stuff like that all the time. But in the off season, he had one arm that really started to raise up. Like it was really evident. And in just, this case, because he's all about posing, he was always posting himself posing, it was really obvious. But I find that happens a lot with most people when you're not posing as much in the off season. You'll see a lot of those, you get bound up, things start to
Yeah.
imbalance. Also, in the off season, your training volume's going up, things are getting bound up anyway. But I do find even like this last off season, when I was posing very often, that happened less. But when I took like 3 to 4 weeks off and I came back, man, things were really exaggerated. I was like, I could tell I had not been posing for a while. It took a
Yeah.
long time to come back from that.
I'm just taking it as a lesson. Because I know my posing's gonna be fine, but it's like, man, like I'm thinking about like how I felt about it like going into last show, it just was like so easy. I'm like, man,
Well, you're going to be
you're like,
solid.
use
You're going
it
to be
or
solid.
lose it. And then plus, not to say if like you like poses just look better when you're leaner.
Oh
They just
yeah,
do.
for sure. Yeah.
So like most people don't even want to pose in the off season because they're like, it looks like shit. Even if they
Yeah.
don't look bad, like they're
Yeah.
not like fat or anything. They're just like, because the poses aren't meant for like a normal amount of body fat. They're just not.
Yeah. It looks funny.
They're just like, okay, this isn't hitting like it used to.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. That's where like I'm almost always, anytime I'm at the gym, anything, even if it's hot outside, I'm always in like full sweats.
Hmm.
I just won't look at myself ever until it's time for progress photos.
Mm. So
You know what I mean?
are you doing progress photos now? Like I know we were kind of
No,
like
it's been a minute. I don't even
off.
want to see because I'm still like gut health. I'm like barely
Okay,
getting
same.
back into training. Like training's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday now. And like, I just don't want to see it at the moment.
So did you go today?
No, I didn't go today.
Did you go this week?
Yeah. Yeah. I
How are
did
you
back
feeling? Like, do you
Wednesday.
feel okay at the gym?
Yeah. I'm just a lot more sore. I'm one of those people that never gets sore. Like
Okay.
I will never like, do you ever get sore?
I mean, it's so random. It's so rare. Like sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Like I was sore from legs on Monday, but I'm not sore from legs yesterday.
See, I think legs is the one that happens the most often too. Because like Wyatt, kid I'm coaching
Mm.
with legs, he's like, man, I got sore from the other day. That was a sick leg day. I got sore. No matter how hard I push leg day, I'm never sore unless I take time off.
Yeah. I
Never,
never get
never.
sore. Like the only place I somewhat get sore is like maybe chest, but I'll only really hit chest if I like accidentally hit chest doing like shoulders.
Yeah. So that makes
I,
sense.
I
That
never
makes
really
sense.
train chest directly. So if I'm like sore or like my chest feels super tight, I'm like, okay. So like form was probably a little bit wonky and hit more chest than I wanted to, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
But also my chest is already tight even if I don't train it because of like working on the computer and like just being in this like rounded forward position. I think everyone's chest is like really tight.
And that was another thing. So I went back and watched most of that podcast with Alec, or I keep saying Alex, Eric, and he was talking about like it came up somewhere where like if your head's forward, your thoracic spine has to compensate. I think it's kind of weird. I have this theory. A lot of the reason why and I'd be curious if you do this. I do this all the time. I wonder if your chest is tight because your head's forward a lot.
Probably.
Do you find your neck like is
I
usually
don't I don't know.
I
Probably.
I do it all of the time. Like if I'm stressed out or thinking about something,
No, you're right because I will like lean forward or like look at something. I will definitely do that.
yeah, and then like when you notice it, you sit your head back and your neck's like, oh man, I can't. It feels
I'm
like
like,
it's being worked.
because somebody actually told me that before about like needing to push my neck back. But then I
Yeah.
feel like I'm like double chinning. Like I don't know what does a normal head placed on the spine look like? I don't even know.
It was weird because I had hyper fixated about this for way too long. And so I was convinced that one, a lot of my poor posture actually came from how my hips were sitting. So like
Yeah.
typically I'll have like duck butt and that'll take like it's hard to
So
have
like
your
arching?
yeah, like an arched butt, you
Okay.
know what I mean? Because that's like to me it always having your like low back arched meant like athleticism. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna do a
Okay, I
squat,
know what
take
you're
your butt
talking about.
out.
We talked about this before with
Yeah.
Eric about the squatting. So I think of that as like a butt wink or like just an anterior pelvic tilt.
Yeah, yeah, like that. So I'll notice like if I bring my hips under, I have better upper body posture. Also, if my neck's back. So usually if my butt's back and my head's forward, my posture's ass. But if my neck's back and I tuck my hips under a little bit, like tilt forward, then my upper body posture is better. But then I would hyperfixate on that, and my middle of my back would always get super tight. I'd have all these knots, and I'm like, this is just distracting. And then I saw this study that came out where it's like the good posture is the one where you feel least resistance. Like the conclusion of the study was like good posture is where you feel like you're most comfortable.
But then you see those old people that are walking around like this. So that must
Exactly. I
be
was like,
most
that's where it
people,
doesn't make sense. Because if that's most comfortable for them, how could that possibly be the best posture?
right?
It made zero sense to me.
That's what I think too. I think what's most comfortable is what you've trained yourself to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, you could throw this study out the window. That makes zero sense. Because if I'm most comfortable like this,
Right.
like
It's
what?
just because you're used to it.
Yeah, that makes zero sense. But in the meantime, I'm least comfortable like trying to correct my posture. But something I started doing is like these wall angels, you just like,
Those are so hard.
man, but then I get these crazy knots in my back. It's like, ugh,
Yeah, that's where I always get knots. Like through my rhomboids,
yeah.
not good. And then I think because of my sleeping on my side, my chest is tight on one
Oh,
side. And
yeah,
then I
yeah.
get these knots through my traps. And then whenever I'm stressed, I kind of like tense up through here. So then my whole upper back is just like erect.
It's like We need to get body work done like 3 times a week or something.
Wouldn't that be great?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Like a live-in person. If anybody is like a bodywork expert wants to come like do that 3 times a week, we can just work for them or work with
Yeah.
them for free.
Yeah, I would. I'll make you look jacked as hell if you just give me some body work.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I used to have, when I still had a 9 to 5, right? They paid for like 24 a year. I used to go a
What?
lot more often. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But it's weird because in Idaho, you split up. Like you don't get, when I lived in Wyoming, you could get massages at the same time as your chiropractic appointment. You can't do that in Idaho. It has to be separate and you have to pay for it separate.
You're talking about like insurance purposes?
Yeah. Or at the same place, right? You have to like go.
Really?
Yeah. So in
Because
Idaho
the guy that I used to go to in California, he was a chiropractor, but he mostly did like muscle therapy, but he would still give me an adjustment every time.
and body work, because you get body work at the same place.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's how it was in Wyoming. Like I would go chiropractor, acupuncture, massage therapy all in the
Now, I've
same session.
never actually had acupuncture before, but I've heard of people doing like dry needling in an area that they don't have a good connection to like release the fascia. So like a lot of bikini girls will like do their glutes. I've heard of guys doing it like on their chest though
That
too.
makes sense. Yeah.
Dry needling to like release the fascia.
Yep. That makes sense to me.
I think if you had like really big physique goals and you're not getting body work done, I don't think you're exhausting your options.
For sure. One thing I've noticed, here's another theory I have. I've got one bicep I've got one bicep that looks bigger but is smaller. So it's got a better peak, it's got a better shape, but circumference it's smaller. The other one has crappier shape but it's bigger. I
Interesting.
It
So do you think
sucks.
that has to do with the actual muscle belly?
I think it has to do with inefficiencies in the
Mm.
shoulder joint. I think it's like if your shoulder's bound up,
Mm-hmm.
or if you like lift, like if a lot of people, for instance, a good example, a lot of people when they lift, you can see like they do this on lat movements, like their shoulders up high. You can see it's a lot of like
Yes.
rhomboid and rear delt instead of lat.
Mm-hmm.
If you kind of lift that same
Shrugging
way,
up. Or even with like a lat pullover, like a cable lat pullover, they're lifting with their shoulders elevated.
yeah, yeah. So I think if you do a similar sort of thing with your shoulder when you're doing biceps, that you might get less of a connection. It's kind of weird, but I like to take a incline bench and put it in front of a cable stack and then do preacher curls with a cable. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so whenever I do that, if I push my elbow forward when I'm doing those, like I drop my shoulder and focus on trying to push my elbow towards that cable stack, I get better connection in that bicep.
So do you lean into it a little bit? Like if your arm's extended, do you kind of lean into this shoulder to drop it down?
Yeah, I'll extend that arm and like as I pull the handle up with my bicep, I'll simultaneously push that elbow down and
Because that's what
forward.
I do for lat movements. They at the gym they have this like you can also do it on a cable, so it would just be like a chest supported like cable pull down,
Oh
but they
yeah, I
have this
love those. Yeah.
Nautilus like
Yes.
it's just like a Nautilus machine.
Clutch. Yes.
So
I love
I'll
those.
lean. So if I'm doing my right hand, I'll lean to the side so then I can really target that right lat. Versus if I'm just upright, I still target the lat, but it's like dropping that shoulder, I feel like targets it a lot better.
Yes. And I think a lot of that has to do with if you open up space. I learned this from Luke Miller, right? If you open up space on that hip to where you can drive your elbow to that hip,
Yes.
you get better of a connection. But if you're upright, you can't drive to that hip as well.
Right, you're just driving the elbow back.
Yeah, that was a big one. So with that Nautilus, I do that same thing, and then also with like single arm cable rows, like open up space under that hip
Yeah.
area to drive to that hip and focus on
Mhm.
elbow to hip. Man, I get some gnarly
That's what
lat
I
pump
tell my
doing that.
clients for like all back exercises. Like, don't think about just bringing the weight back or up. Think elbow to hip, especially if it's
Yes.
lat focused.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge one. Yeah. And then also like side delts, another one that I've been big on, like, reaching out, like how wide
Mm.
can I get? Because it's
I've
really
heard of it
common.
too, like thinking about like painting the walls or like bringing
Yes.
your fists to the walls outside versus
Yep.
just up.
Yep. Yep. And I think a lot of that has to do with trap movement. A lot of people, they're doing traps when they're doing side delts.
A lot of these girls, not necessarily in like bodybuilding, but just like I don't know, normal everyday people, I guess, have been getting like trap talks. So it's like Botox that you put into your traps, which I feel like
Is
that
it
might
SEO?
help
Is
some
it
people with
SEO?
tension. That might help some people with tension, but I'm like, you're still not getting to the root cause of why your traps are growing so rapidly, if that's the issue.
Because their traps are overdeveloped? Or they're
Yes.
underdeveloped and they're like injecting oil to.
No, 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 no. Overdeveloped. So like the Botox is to make the muscle stop contracting, basically.
Oh, yeah, it's just because they're like,
So it's to basically like atrophy the traps. I think for some people, people get it for different reasons, of course. So some people
that
get
makes
it for
sense.
more of like an aesthetic reason, like to look more feminine, to bring down the traps. But I think some people get it because I see so many girls. Nothing's wrong with training traps, but like I see so many girls at the gym, like with their boyfriends doing shrugs and stuff, and I'm like, why are you having her do that? She probably doesn't want to grow her traps,
Yeah. And a
and
lot of
you
people, they
probably
get it.
don't need to either.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
probably need to get stronger at a lot of other movements and not do like 315 on a shrug.
Yeah. And that's where, like, it's tough to make this switch. Like, if you're going to start off with minimum effective volume on things, like, you don't need to work rear delts or front delts or traps. You just don't need to. You get enough of that with like rows, chest
Yeah, if
movement.
you're pressing and pulling, you're fine.
Yeah. And then if you get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm doing, you know, 16 sets of lats in a week, but I still want to grow my rear delts more. Maybe that's like a priority body part. Then adding more and more rear delt can be helpful because your delts can handle a lot. And my
Hmm.
theory on that is like when we were evolving, right? The delts and the shoulders were used to like carry things. And so they're very endurance based. You know what I mean? Like rows, like, like what is it, white guy curse, right? Like big lats and small chest. Like the Europeans, right? Like a lot of rowing. Like that is a very type one
Dude, I've
high.
never heard that before, and that's so funny because that is a trend.
It's true. You know what? It's
Big
funny.
white males, that is definitely a trend. Like if you think of your typical like European dude,
Yeah.
it's like small chest.
Yeah. Big lats, small chest. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's funny because I first heard that from Daniel Coffeen. I did
really.
I did a session with him one time, yeah. And he's like, "Oh, you have white guy curse." I was like, "Why? Because I'm small?" And he's like, "No, no, no, big lat, small chest." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that too."
Oh, that's really funny. That's true though. Like
It is. Yeah.
looking at like stereotypes and like body types, that's very true.
Yeah. Yeah. It is because that's again, that's a very like rowing. That's a very fast twitch movement. But like
Hmm.
we didn't do any of that with shoulders. You know what I mean? Like we weren't. I mean, I don't know if there was a lot of like throwing stuff up in the air. That would be like a shoulder dominant explosive movement. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen that often. Like it's mainly for, so it's very endurance based. It's a very endurance based muscle. Like your side delts can handle a shit ton of volume.
Right.
Front delts too. It's just, it's a smaller muscle and you already hit it a lot with chest.
Hmm.
Rear delts probably, I'd say your side delts can handle the most volume, then your rear delts, then your front delts.
I would agree.
And those ones, like they can handle a lot of volume.
I get some gnarly knots in my rear delts.
Really?
Yes. I don't know exactly what from, but it's like a little ball.
In the delt. Yeah, you need some dry needling.
Something, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never gotten dry needling done, but I'm curious about it.
you should try it. I bet there's a lot of places to go where you live.
I'm sure there are because I know my posing coach got it done for her glutes because, like I said, she's like been whatever. She can't feel like one of her glutes, struggling to grow this specific glute, whatever. So I know that she got it done, which makes sense because it's basically like I don't really know on a technical term, so I'm not going to speak too much on it, but it's loosening the fascia, like forcing the fascia to like release, I would think.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about because like the fascia sits between the bone and the muscle.
Hmm.
And like with fascia stretch training, it's like stretching the muscle out so much or pumping the muscle up so much that it's to the point where it's stretching that fascia.
Hmm.
I've never done a lot of that. I've never done like fascia stretch training, like FST7. You know what I'm talking about? Honey
Is
Rambo.
that when you have static stretching in the workout, kind of?
No, like,
Wait, isn't FST7 Hani Rambod saying,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That was like at the very end of a session, like 7 sets of like high volume pump work, like really like pump the muscle and stretch the fascia. I tried it a couple times. I got away from so many of the different intensifiers.
Hmm.
And I just like the
Are
best
you
pro
mostly just like straight sets, pretty much?
yeah, the most progress I ever made is I'm gonna do straight sets until the end of like the end of a mesocycle, you might call it. Right? I'll do like 8, 16, 24 weeks of straight sets to the point where I'm like focusing on increasing volume. Like I'll increase volume, couple sets every 6 to 8 weeks. And then at the end of that, where I'm like, okay, I'm really getting exhausted. I'm really getting to the point where I need a deload. Then I'll throw in some intensifiers for a couple weeks to the point where I'm like walking around like a zombie during the day. And then I'll deload, cut things back, and then do lower
I don't
sets.
really do too many intensifiers. I don't really like sometimes I'll do like a top set and like a back off set with like 1 and 1/2 reps or something like that.
Yeah, big fan of top set, back off sets.
Yeah, me too, but I don't really do any like drop sets
Mm-mm.
necessarily.
No, me neither. Yeah.
Maybe on something like a lateral raise,
Yeah, you know what? That's true. I will do some intensifier stuff on lateral raises.
which once again goes back to what we were just saying about the side delts.
Yes. That's the only time I'll do that. So I'll hammer the shit on my side delts. Like I'll start off and I'll do some banded side lateral raises
Hmm.
as like a primer. Like I get
Yeah.
a pump in my side delts before I even start doing straight sets. Then I'll
So
do
yeah,
2 or 3 straight sets. And then at the end of those 2 or 3, like for instance, I'll do like, have you ever seen people lie down and do lying like Y raises kind of?
yeah.
I love doing those with
Are you
wrist
doing it
cuff.
on the cable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll lay down flat. I'll put
I like those.
wrist cuffs and then like cross the cables.
Hmm.
I love doing those. And then I'll do 2 or 3 sets. I'll do like 2 top sets. I'll do a back off set. And then I'll go like grab that same band and I'll do 20 like really strict as perfect as I can reps. And then I'll do like 30 to 50 like half reps, like a really exhausting.
Yeah, I'm doing something similar. I'll do two warm up sets. I did like, my first set was like 5 for like 25 reps. And then I'll do like 10 for like 15 reps. And then I'll get into working sets and choose a weight for like 10 to 12. And then I'll grab one of those long bands and set a timer for 30 seconds and do just the bottom range,
Yeah. Yep.
which sounds like not a lot, but after you've already done like a hard set of like 10 to 12, it's like, I can't move this band. Like the band's
Yeah.
very light, but.
Yes. Yeah. It looks
And
funny.
then I'll go into like a shoulder press.
Yeah. Exact. Yeah. So I'll do that. Then I'll go do dumbbell side lateral raises.
Hmm.
I'll do like, 15 to 20 strict reps.
Mm.
And then I'll do half reps. So I'll do 15 to 20 strict, half reps to exhaustion. I'll do 1 or 2 sets of those and then a shoulder press.
So we do basically like we do like the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That hits. That has grown my side delts more than anything.
How do you warm up for legs? I used to do that. I used to always do that. Now I do hip abduction before every leg day now,
Yeah. Yep.
which I do like doing that too.
Yep. I do the same thing. I'll do calves. So specifically, I'll do calves, hamstrings, adductors, then quads.
Okay. Do you ever do any like pre-exhaustion or no?
Not really. I'll do some like I'll
Hands
get on
got
the
away from doing any of that.
yeah, I'll get because when I hit quads, right, it's like it's so nervous system taxing. So I'll do quads. That's a good warm up for the legs. I'll get into hamstrings, right? I'll do lying hamstring curls. Start to exhaust the hamstrings. Then I'll do RDLs because I feel RDLs better after I've done lying hamstrings or seated. Then I'll do adductors. So I'll like because that'll be pretty heavy, right? I'm like almost planning out endurance for the leg day. I'll
Yeah.
do a leg curl. I'll do an RDL, and then I'll do an adductor that kind of like, now I'm like calming my nervous system back down a little bit. Like usually those RDLs are pretty taxing.
Yeah.
Then I'll do like a couple like warm up sets on leg extension, then into leg press. So by the time I hit leg press, I'm warm, I'm ready to roll. I'm already like, I've been lifting heavy weight enough. And then by the time I'm done with leg press, it's like rear elevated split squats and I'm fried.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, I need hamstrings to catch up. So I'll just do those first.
You're like, I'll just put them in at the beginning and at the end. How do you how do you like to program someone when they're brand new? Like they're like, I've only done Orange Theory or like whatever.
So I really like this split. Okay. I will do 2 days on, 1 day off.
Okay.
Most people I like to do 3 days on max.
I
But
mean,
with
I don't
new,
like when people train more than 3 days a week. That's like a
yeah,
hard move.
no more than three. Yeah.
Three, I don't even train 3 days in a row usually.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
You got to be eating a lot, and usually gear helps, right?
yeah. The only reason I will do train 3 days in a row is like if I have like labs planned, so I need to like change my training schedule, or if I'm like next weekend I'm going out of town, so I'm Thursday's usually legs, but I'm gonna be driving, so I'm gonna make that Wednesday. So I like 2 days on.
Yeah. So I will do that. 2 days on is good with an off day after, good recovery. I'll cycle through. I'll go like pull, legs off, push, pull off, legs push off.
Okay.
So you have pull first, then legs off. Then I have, what did I say? Now I forgot. Pull, legs off, push, pull off, legs push, legs pull off. Something
Yeah, so
like that.
you're separating the leg days quite a bit.
Yeah, and then every muscle group has an opportunity to go first after an off day.
Yeah, that's
So
a
it'll
good
be
idea. I
pull
like that.
blank off, legs blank off, push blank off, or whatever I just said. You know
I
what I
like
mean?
that idea. I like
And
that.
and then for like pull day, I'll start with, right, I'll do like lats, rear delts, biceps, and then on the next one, I'll do biceps, lats, rear delts.
Okay.
Push day, I'll start with chest, then shoulders, triceps, and then on the other one, I'll do shoulders, chest, triceps. And then for leg day, I'll start like, I'll do maybe calves, adductors, quads, hams. And then
Hmm.
on the other leg day, I'll do, uh, you know, ham, calves, then, maybe adductors first, but then I'll do hamstrings, then quads. So every muscle group has an opportunity to go first after an off day. And then every muscle group within pull push legs has an opportunity to go first early in that day.
I've really never heard of anyone doing it like that, which I think is a great idea.
Super balanced. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also really helps, right? Every leg day start with, because most people they're like, oh, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do 16 sets of quads, and then I'm just going to like blast through hamstrings and calves. And it's like, well, that's why your hamstrings and calves are always
Yeah.
small. Like do those first. One, because you never skip them. You get good. Like my calves started
And you're
growing.
fresh.
Yeah, my calves grew way faster when I started doing them first. And you're warming up,
Hmm.
right? So if you
It
go in
warms up
there,
like your whole entire leg when you do calves first.
exactly. Yeah. Because
I
if you're
like
going to
to
go
do
do,
calves on like the machine leg press, the
yes,
pin loaded leg press. That's where
yes,
I like to do calves best.
same. Yeah, I love that one. Because then it's not also axial loaded. Like you have a calf with your
Right.
legs straight, but you don't have like you're not doing a standing where that's axial loaded. That can be fatiguing.
Right. Right. And with the leg press, you're just moving from the calf,
Yep.
basically.
Yep. Yeah.
You're not having to like get under, lift off with your shoulders. And even with a seated calf raise, you still have to lift up at the legs, take it off to safety, which seems small and like just kind of like a nuanced thing, but I think there's genuinely a difference there.
Yeah. Yeah. And even then I'll switch it like a straight leg, then a bent leg calf. And then the
Hmm.
next day it'll be a bent leg, then a straight leg calf. So it keeps it balanced. But then, like if you really want to hone in on something, like you start from there. And then if you have focused muscle groups that you want to add in, then I might do like for instance last year, my quads have always been like a strong suit, but my upper body was just not that great. So I did push pull legs off, push pull off.
Okay.
And then I
Okay.
did some
So
hamstrings
throwing more
on,
volume, just overall upper.
yeah, yeah. And then I added some hamstrings on that pull day on the second before the off.
Okay. Yeah. That's a really good idea. I think most people would benefit just from literally, regardless of exercise selection or order, or any, just literally sticking to a training program for longer than a couple weeks. That's
Yeah,
it.
you have to stick with it for a long time to really know, because you have to really learn how to train each exercise, and that takes a
Hmm.
long time. Like it's really fun. Like there's a lot of functional health's a little bit different, but there's a lot of different things you can do with, meals, foods, supplements, things like that. But generally speaking, it's pretty simple once you figure it out what's going to work
Right.
for you. The most
Right. And
difficult
then you can
part,
just individualize it from there.
yeah. And
Like,
then
oh,
the
I like doing RDLs on the belt squat versus dumbbells or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So then you get like, like if you set up the perfect off season, like supplements and food's easy.
Yeah.
Training's the most difficult part. Like if you follow the highest level bodybuilders and coaches, like they're always focused on training. Why? Because that's like the most difficult part.
Right.
That's the most difficult. Like if there's people like, out there figuring out different ways to do like different combinations of PEDs and peptides, whatever, like usually, it's interesting.
Hmm.
And a lot of it is for like online attention and stuff like
And then
that
a
because it's
lot of those
new.
people, like, say Coach X uses Anavar, GH, and Test or whatever. And then Coach B uses like Ostarine and Test and like a GHRP6.
Yeah, or
Like
whatever. Right? Like,
they could potentially get like the same result.
yeah. So it's like,
Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah, like everybody's got their own theory and stuff, but like past a certain point, like the highest level guys are working on training. They're always talking about training. How do I get better at training? How do I, how do I set up? How do I design training? It's all about training. Why is that? Well, why, what I mean? Like if that's the case, then you can't expect to think that you can just like work through.
Do you hear the Slack notifications?
Yeah, I'm getting blown
I'm
up
like,
right
who's talking right now?
now. But if that's the case, you can't expect to like, okay, well, I'm going to try this one training thing for, you know, 8 weeks and then switch it up and then switch it up. Like you
Right.
have
It's
you
just
have to
like,
get good. You ha- you have to get good at the exercises you're doing, and you have to look at objectively how well it's working over a long enough period of time. So like, look at how is your physique changing? Like, okay, I'm going to do a push pull legs off, upper lower off for 8 months. What did that do to my physique? Well, however I had it set up, my shoulders grew, my lats grew, and my hamstrings caught up. I objectively could see that, but it took 8, 9 months for me to visibly see that.
yeah, it takes a lot of time. And also, like we were just talking about, like Hani Rambod doesn't really talk about drugs, but he does talk about his Fast 7, FST7 stuff,
Yeah, well, and
you know?
people
Like
think
based off
it's
what we
like,
just said about like elite trainers talking about training mostly.
yeah, yeah. So one, if you're trying a training out for less than 8, 9 months, you're not going to objectively know if it worked. So
Correct.
summarize that. Two, what you just said, people think that just because high level coaches and high level bodybuilders and stuff aren't talking about drugs, that they have a secret that nobody else knows.
Right.
That's not why they're not talking about it. They're not talking about it because it's simple.
Because they're
It's
doing the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite simple how that stuff is set up. It's basic. You're not missing anything. What you're missing is how to leverage training in a good enough way to leverage whatever it is you're using. So it's like, fine, you can set up the coolest PED supplement, whatever, and have dog shit training. You're going to get half as much out of another person that does TRT, 200 milligrams of testosterone, but
And
trains like
also,
an animal.
too, the individual variants with drugs. Like, you have to think about like androgen receptors, how sensitive they are, how much drugs this person has run in the past. I feel like it's just super nuanced to be like, well, sebum does X amount of test, so I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, it's people way overcomplicate that stuff. Like if you've never been on anything, start with TRT. Like if you've never been on anything
Right.
and you
And I
do.
know I've seen you talk about people in ECA with that too. I'm like, okay, why are we adding in Masteron?
Yeah, people are, it's too complicated. If you've never been anything and you start, you're 30 years old, you're like, my test levels are dropping, they're at 300, and I'm very healthy, I've dialed everything in. There's no obvious reasons why my testosterone should be low other than age.
Hmm.
Okay, you get on a TRT, 200 milligrams of testosterone. If you are good enough, if you are consistent enough with your nutrition, and you are good enough with your training, you are going to get way more progress than homeboy number B, letter B over here, doing whatever he is with PEDs and training like dog shit.
Yes.
Why can I say that? Because I've lived it, I've done it. Like
I believe it.
like my 2022 show, I did naturally. And then I did another, bulking phase for a year and a half after that naturally. And then I went on 150 milligrams of testosterone. I dialed in and obsessed about training more than I ever have, and I got way more progress than I ever have in my life.
What did you do during that time, / whose philosophies did you follow? Or maybe it was Riley's philosophy. I don't know.
It was a mix of different things. Like I changed to a top set, back off set, working with John Jewett and John Jewett and Luke Miller.
Yeah.
They're big on that, especially John's big on that. I like the top set,
I like
back off
that.
set because it gives me one set to PR, and then it gives me one set to really connect with the muscle.
Yes. That's why
So I
I
get
like
the
it
best of
too.
both worlds.
One set, in that one set, not to say you can let form go, but you can get a little bit more. I'm just trying to move this weight and
You're
see
gonna
if
have
I
to
can.
push it sometimes.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, I reset everything. All of my weights, I tried to see how little of weight could I possibly get away with. Like bent over barbell rows, I started with 135. Leg press, I started with
And
like
just making it crisp.
4 plates. I was like, I'm going to make this as difficult as humanly possible. And if there's nothing I can do to make that low weight as difficult as possible and I'm still getting like way outside of my rep range, like if you're doing 15, 20 reps on a bent over barbell, that's way too fatiguing. If you're doing 15, 20 reps of an RDL, you're going to crash yourself into the ground. That's way too fatiguing. So if I'm getting to those rep ranges now, and I'm doing everything I can possibly do to make
To
that weight
slow
as
it
heavy as
down,
possible,
focus on the contraction. Yeah.
like obsess about it,
Mm-hmm.
then move up with a 2.5 pound plate on either side. And then do it again. I did that for 9 months and I grew faster than I ever did on 150 milligrams of testosterone TRT. My body changed better than it ever has. It was like crazy. Then I just trickle in a little bit more, like, okay, now I'm going to do 200 milligrams of testosterone, whatever. Like, okay, now I just kept growing. Like I relied on food. I went to bed and woke up at the same exact time every single day, weekends
What were
included.
those times?
I went to bed at 8. I was asleep by 8:15 and I woke up at 4:30 every single day. I ate my
But
meals
this
at
when you're
this.
still working? Well, not
Yes.
working. You're working. You know what I mean?
9 to 5. Yes.
Yeah.
I was eating at the same time every single day. 8:30, 11:30, 2:30 and 5:30. Every single day at the exact same time. My digestion and my sleep were better than they ever have been. My training was more dialed than ever. I got way more. Meanwhile, I go to the gym and somebody like just hop on whatever. They're like, yeah, I work with a coach. I'm on 800 milligrams. And they gain like 10 pounds that off season. I'm like, dude, I gained 25 pounds on 150 milligrams of testosterone. Like if you're not gaining more
Exhaust
than,
all of your other options.
yeah, there's no secret, right? That's why it never gets talked about. Anyway, going back to that, like, it's just like exhaust. Like I always see it as like, okay, you can exhaust your genetic potential on nothing. And if you think you're doing everything you can, you're wrong. If you think you're doing everything you can to exhaust your genetic potential, you are wrong. So revisit that. Then,
Okay, finish this and then
hold on. And then, right, if you've done that, now get on 150 milligrams, 200 TRT at 30 years old. That's your new genetic potential, in my mind. Exhaust that until you've done everything you can. Well, to me, that drug me 25 pounds. I was leaner at 230 than I was at 204. Right? Like
that's crazy. That's
I had
crazy.
really
Leaner at
gotten,
240 than 204. That's crazy.
yes, I was leaner. Most people I show those photos and they look at the 204 photo, they're like, oh, are you heavy in this photo? Because I looked softer and fluffier. I'm like, no, man, I was 204 in that photo. I was
Do you know
230 in
what
this
your
other photo.
test was at that point? Like on that?
1100.
No, before.
Well, like 400.
Okay. Okay. Uh, so you know how DHEA is banned by WADA?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking if you're a natural competitor, bodybuilding, this could apply to a lot of other sports, but specifically bodybuilding. Because I was talking to a friend about how a bunch of cyclists got banned for taking DHEA or something. I feel like if a natural bodybuilder took DHEA, they would just be bringing their DHEA to normal level. Do you think so? I know regardless they still can't take it, but I don't really think they'd be at an advantage.
To me, the advantage comes in on prep. When all your hormones are tanking, It's, you know, it's technically cheating if you're supporting holding hormones higher than they normally would in that prep scenario when thyroid's tanked, testosterone's tanked. You know what I mean? When the natural body, like after I freaked out because, you know, blood work wasn't really a thing as much when I was younger. I pulled blood about a week before my show in 2022.
Oh no.
My
I crash
testosterone was
out. I
like
crash
80.
out.
My free testosterone was like 80. I was exhausted.
Was
My
this
hormones were
wait,
tanked.
was this the prep where you were doing like hours of cardio?
Yeah, I graduated college and I was like, I did an 8 week prep. I was like, I don't care what it takes. I'm just going to do what I can do in 8 weeks.
Going back to what we talked about at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, that was stupid. But I was like, look, I'm gonna do this show. I'm gonna get as lean as I can in these 8 weeks. I don't care what happens. Because at the end of those 8 weeks, I'm gonna be set up to be as lean as possible for a really good, like
Yeah.
true muscle gain phase. So I'm like,
Well, that's
whatever it
true. I
takes.
do think people grow the best coming out of a contest prep.
Yes.
Like that's you're so set up for growth. I mean, yeah, you're really primed to gain a shit ton of fat too if you're an asshole, but
Yes.
if you do it right, you are primed to grow.
Yeah. Because at a certain point, right, like for a guy, if you're 16, 17% body fat, systemic inflammation's getting high, glucose utilization's dropping down, right? Like things get a little ugly. It's probably time to cut it off.
Hmm.
So you make really good strategic increases of food starting at 6, 7, 8% body fat. You could grow depending on, you know what I mean? Like depending on your metabolic flexibility and your adaptability, right? You know, some people you make a 5% increase in food and then they grow for 4 weeks. Some people
Literally.
you know what I mean? Like, and some people make a 5% increase and then that lasts them a week.
Hmm.
That's genetic execution. There's a lot of variables with it.
It's funny too because the adaptation happens in both directions. So like if I can push someone's
Yes.
food super, 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 super high, then when I bring them in the opposite direction, they adapt really quick. So like I drop their food, I'm like, okay, you've adapted here. We got to cut food again.
Exactly. Yeah. So whatever that may be, right? You start at 6, 7, 8%. You could grow for a year to a year and a half before you get to 16, 17% body fat if you're really dialed.
Hmm.
Versus if you start at 12, 13%, there's only so much you can do.
Right. Right.
So yeah, that's exactly right. That's why I really like, some people might argue this, right? Some people might say don't diet someone without a lot of muscle on, but muscle takes time, right? So to me, it's more beneficial to do a mini cut
Hmm.
the minute I get them
I think so too.
and
Depending
then
on
grow.
how fat or not fat they are.
Plus I can see, right? I rely on the visuals. If we are getting really strong in the gym, if we are gaining weight and I'm not seeing a lot of body fat gain, I can be pretty sure you're gaining muscle.
Correct. And if you're looking at waist measurements,
Yes.
huge.
But if you're already fat, it's hard for me to tell.
The way you said that was really funny.
But then it's hard to tell, right? Are we gaining body fat or not? Because you don't have lines. I'm looking at
Right.
lines as
There's no,
reference.
yeah, it's hard to tell.
It's hard. Yeah, I like if I'm trying to figure out how your body responds to certain increases in food, whatever it is, I'm trying to learn like how high can I push our body weight rate gain without noticeable body fat in
Hmm.
progress photos. But if you're already fat, it's hard to tell. So
Right.
you're guessing a little bit. Now, the issue is when it comes to coaching and things like that, not a lot of people are willing to say, okay, I'll do what you say and stick with this for a year and a half. Most people aren't going to like, okay, let's do a fat loss phase for 4 to 6 months. Let's do a gain phase for a year and a half. Like one, that's what's going to work. But most people aren't willing to do that. They're like, I just want to get jacked this year. And you're like, okay.
I want to get jacked in 3 weeks before my sister's wedding.
Yeah. And by the way, if I'm going to bodybuild and all, I'm going for the highest level possible that is the Olympia. I'm like, dude,
But they can't win it because I won, so it's fine.
yeah, and you can't say that because then they're like, "Well, I'll just find a coach that can." You're like, "You're going to coach out for the rest of your life, and you'll probably never get there." Like, it sucks. So that
There's so much value in literally just sticking with one coach for a long time.
yeah, yep,
Like they know your body, they know what works, they know what doesn't. And in like a prep setting, they know how you respond with refeeds. They know how you respond when you need to cut food back or increase cardio or whatever. It's like if you find a new coach, it's like starting a whole new like relationship. Like imagine if you've been in a relationship with someone for like X amount of time and then you're like dating and you're like, "Wait, I don't know you."
100%, yep.
Which
And
that's
having a
one
coach
thing
through
if
a
like your
whole off
coach is
season,
not great, but
yeah, and have a coach through a whole off season. Like, I don't know. Again, if you think you're expanding your genetic potential, if you're taking advantage of all your genetic potential, you're wrong. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? Like same thing with the off season. If you think you can gain as much muscle on your own before hiring a coach for a contest prep, you're wrong. There's so many things you don't know.
Right.
There's so many things you don't know.
It was crazy because when I started working with my coach years ago at this point, but like I don't know how much protein I was eating, maybe like 140, 130. I was probably body weight of like 117, 120. So like I was
Yeah.
eating more.
Yeah.
I was eating
A little
fine
bit more. Yeah,
protein.
like 1.2 grams per pound or something.
We actually, I don't remember what we did as far as macro distribution, as far as carbs and fat, but we actually bumped my protein a little bit. And I was, weight stayed the same, but I was like actively getting leaner.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
I think that has a lot to do with gut health.
As far as protein,
Hmm.
as far as if you can handle that amount of protein.
Yep.
Ah,
I think it has a lot to do with that because protein's taxing.
it is.
I
It's
think
definitely.
I do think that yes, more protein is better. Like there's some coaches that are like 2 grams per pound.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think there's some truth to that if your gut can handle it. If your gut can't handle it, you're
Like
fighting
what
yourself.
what is realistic for the person?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Because
And
like I'm fine with eating a lot of protein. That works fine for me. It works fine for me digestively. But if there's someone who's struggling to eat 100 grams of protein, I'm not going to be like, well, you weigh 160, so we need to be at 160. Like it needs to be a gradual thing. Because I would think, and I don't have stats on this, I would think the average American probably eats like 50 to 70 grams of protein a day,
if that.
right?
Basically, what amount of protein are you getting in your dinner?
Yeah.
That's typical. Maybe breakfast, but usually not breakfast either.
But even then, I feel like the majority, like protein sources at like a family meal is going to be more of a fattier protein.
Yeah. Yeah, like a, pork chops or
Yeah.
80% ground beef or something.
Yeah, it's going to be more like there's protein, but it's going to be even more fat.
That's another reason why I like to do a mini cup first.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple reasons. One, you don't need as much training to retain muscle tissue. So we can bring training back and really focus on training quality during that period of time. It's like boot camp. Then you also clear out the gut, right? If you can be really consistent during a fat loss phase, as you get hungrier and hungrier, your migrating motor complex in your gut is clearing things out a lot more. You're getting more and more sensitive to things. I think you are getting a positive shift in, commensal to opportunistic bacteria, good to bad bacteria. And then when it comes time to start adding muscle and increasing food, right? As long as you're not eating like an asshole and doing like bad cheat meals, I think you can handle more and more protein coming out of that like gut sensitivity phase if you can keep a handle on
Mm-hmm.
that. That's another reason why.
Yeah, that's a good point because some people don't handle protein well. Like their motility slows down, bloating, depending on the protein source, which then also you have to ask the question like, okay, what are you eating for your protein? Are you eating these like if it fits your macros bars? Or are you eating like good quality animal whole food protein?
Yeah. Yeah, like chicken strips from Sam's Club. You're like, oh, there's protein in it. It's like
Right. Exactly.
somewhere
Exactly.
deep in there.
Riley, you somehow got out of doing your story today. We didn't talk anything about that, and we're at an hour and five, so
We can talk about it sometime. Maybe next one.
maybe we'll see.
That was all
We'll
right.
see.
I feel
We'll
like we
see.
already. I don't think we have fully talked about it. Maybe in one of the earlier episodes.
Very lightly. Well, give them something excited for about your story so they can be looking forward to it.
We can really dive deep into my shitty prep story.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
So I guess that is in 2015. I prepped for teen nationals. I ate 8,600 calories, went from 205 to 255, 260 pounds, and then dropped to 195 in 8 weeks for prep. I puked every day. I got fat as a whale. I got lots of stretch marks. I dieted it all off.
Was this when you were listening to Grow or Die?
No, this was 2015.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think Grow or Die was a thing.
Podcasts weren't a thing. Well, they were, but
Yeah. I was
there
like,
just
I
wasn't a
don't
lot of
the
like.
years get so confusing to me. I'm like, I don't it's 2025. When was 2015? 10 years ago? That's insane.
There was no coaching advice out there. It was in the forums. It was in forums.
Hmm.
Coaching advice were in forums, but even then, back then, talking about like different opinions on like high protein versus low protein, how to set up PEDs versus this. Like there were too many differing opinions, right? It was very difficult in forums for one person to come out and be respect enough to say, this is how I would do it. Here's a structured approach. Here's all the details for like every little bit about bodybuilding. Right? There wasn't, like how a course is kind of set up. There really wasn't that. There were just people like diving in and out on different topics.
And like, well, I think this, and then user 567 is like, well, I think this, and it's just like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And then there was
I feel
coaches.
like that's kind of how Reddit still is today. I know you're not
Yeah.
talking about like necessarily Reddit. You're probably talking about like
Oh yeah, for
today.
sure.
Like, oh,
Reddit's.
you are. Um, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
Man, we are getting.
I know the Slack is popping off. We should
I need to
probably
see what's going on in there. I think I missed some things. Justin's in there. So, but anyway, yeah, we can talk about that prep story next time. And yeah, guys, thanks for listening. This was fun.
we got to go check Slack. We
Yeah,
got to
we'll
see
see you
what's
on the next
happening.
one.